Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I hope you're having a good whatever time of the day it is that you're watching this presentation. I'm just going to take a few minutes and talk to you about goal setting and why it's important. So, if we look at the definition of a goal, we see it's a result towards which effort is made for maintenance or improvement. We know what a goal is. It's something that we're hoping to achieve or accomplish in the future. And how we get there, what our plan is, that's goal setting. Now, there's two types of goals that we can have: short-term goals and long-term goals. A short-term goal is something that we can reach in 2 to 4 weeks, while a long-term goal is going to take a little bit more time, and we're talking like 2 months or more. Now, obviously, this is your phys ed teacher talking to you about goals, so we know that we're going to be talking about something health related. But the one thing that I want you to keep in mind when we're setting these goals is that most of you are going to, I know, we're going to pick something physically, like physical activity related, which is great, but it's not the only piece to the puzzle. You need to think about your nutrition, your hydration, and your sleep as well. So these kind of things are all important. You can't just pull apart one and disregard the other ones. We need to be smart when we're setting those goals. And as you can see down here by the word SMART, we know that we're about to break an acronym down here on our next slide. So what is a SMART goal? A SMART goal is something that's specific, it's measurable, it's attainable, it's realistic, and it's time bound. So when you set a goal and you're putting a plan into action using all of these, you're really setting yourself up for success as long as you're adhering to that plan. All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty details here. A SMART goal setting strategy. Remember, we want those goals to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. So let's say I make a general goal statement and I say I want to increase my upper body strength. All right, that's great. I have a direction that I'm going to move, but it's really not meeting up with any of those SMART goal setting categories. So to make it a little bit more specific, I could say I want to increase the number of push-ups that I can do. It's more specific. I've kind of narrowed it down a little bit, but I need it to be measurable. So to make that measurable, I could say I want to be able to increase the number of push-ups that I can do by 4. Great, got a little bit more into that. Now, the last three, the attainable, the realistic, and the time-bound, are really important when you think about a timeline. So the attainable is answering the how and the how is it possible. Realistic, you want something to be achievable and reachable, but you want it to be relevant as well. And time bound, you want something that can be achieved in a given time period. So when you're setting these goals, I want you to set something that's not, you're not setting the bar so low that you're tripping over it, but you're also not setting it so high that you can't reach it. So when we think about something that's attainable, I want you to think, how am I doing this? So I wanted to improve the number of push-ups that I could do. Attainable, how am I going to do that? I'm going to start strength training 4 to 5 times a week. Great, that's how I'm going to work towards that goal. Now, something that's realistic, I really think this is where you need to focus on the time portion of it, because I'm not magically going to be able to wake up tomorrow and bust out 25 more push-ups tomorrow morning than I could do at the end of the day yesterday. So my final goal might look something like, I want to increase the number of push-ups that I can do by 4 by the end of the month, and how I'm going to attain that is by strength training 4 to 5 days a week. There's a lot more specifics that we'll get into as you're starting to design your personal fitness plans, and this is kind of just the surface of the iceberg here that we're touching. But I really want you to remember to think about the SMART the SMART goal setting process: the specific, the measurable, the attainable, the realistic, and the time bound, and start to design a rough draft for what your goal for the second semester will be. I look forward to working with you all during this next step of the project, and I know that you're all going to set and reach some really outstanding goals this semester.